Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Newcastle United 2, Everton 1. Another defeat to talk about, which isn't nice, but talk about it we will. I have not spoken to you for 24 hours, so I think that tells me everything I need to know about how you feel about this game, Baz.
Yeah, I think lockdown's got to me. I think COVID's got to me, and I'm just... Yesterday, I would have just literally never spoken about Everton again for as long as I live. Because if I could have just got on a boat and sailed away and never had to watch them ever again, I would have done. Because it's just so frustrating. The problem is, I've seen that perform. I think just 25 years too many of that. I've seen that performance too many times. It's just so frustrating. Because you know why? I knew how it was going to play out when I seen the team, and they never ever surprised me, Everton, in a good way. Never.
My dad's been saying it for years. He says, I've seen this film before, but it's got different actors in it.
It is.
He's been saying that for years. That's the famous thing about Everton. I think that's probably why he's just so calm about Everton. Actually, no. No, it was very disappointing. It was a very disappointing, and as you said, the longer the game went on, the more you could see. Because we sat here last week and we spoke about it. We said what Newcastle are good at. And it's staying in games and waiting for that one little thing to happen. And, I know we'll come on to it. They made it happen. And I think that's the most annoying thing, is that as a fan, you sit there and you can see something unfold in front of you. And I don't know whether the players can see that or the manager can see it. I know it sounds stupid, but just as a fan with all your years of experience of watching Everton, you know how it's going to unfold, and it did perfectly unfold exactly how it was going to happen. But you mentioned the team there. I mean, a lot of changes to the team. It wasn't a great team. We brought Robin Olsen in, which we'll speak about later on, for his debut. Obviously, we had John Joe Kenny playing right back. We had Nkunku playing left back. We had an unfamiliar formation with Delphin there, and then Sigurdsson and Gomez playing high, trying to support Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The width was supposed to come from our fullbacks. It never really did, and it was a very, in the end, a very poor Everton side. You could see, the thing about it is, just on one side of it though, I think we had 5 players missing there that I would think from our ideal starting 11. Certainly from my ideal starting 11, Mason Holgate, Seamus Coleman, Luca Dean, James Rodriguez, and obviously Richarlison on the other side. And I think if any team had that kind of quality missing, and also, let me just say as well, our number one goalkeeper as well, but I'll just throw that in there. Depends. You can take that however you want to take it, but our number one goalkeeper wasn't playing as well. Surely any team without those players would struggle.
Yeah, that you couldn't take half a team out of any of the teams and expect it to be the same. I think that Liverpool had struggled. You took Salah and Mane out of their front line, and you took the goal, the keeper out, and you had a couple of City. If you took 5 out of City, I think if you'd done it to any team, they'd struggle. That's not making excuses for Everton, and that is a contribute. There is a factor you can't ignore. You can't ignore that. Yeah. Everton we haven't got a bench that enables us to be able to do that. And that's the key thing really. It was bound to be disjointed. It was bound to be not the same fluidity, but you're hoping that these players come in and prove you wrong, but sadly, all they seem to do is prove you right and prove why they shouldn't be in the team.
Yeah, I think, listen, we sat here before, and we sat maybe like the Brighton game where we seen Gylfi Sigurdsson play and Tom Davies play, and I think in a game like that where you've got all your major players playing, you can get away with that, because that's almost like the other half of the team, and that's nothing against. Who was missing that? Alan was missing that day, wasn't he? So it's
and Gomez.
Yeah, but.
No, I'm just saying.
No. But Alan was missing that day. But okay, Alan's a good player, but he's not one of the creative players. So I think you can sort of get away with it in that half of the team. But I think with the players we've got missing at the moment, it's very hard to replicate what they do. In fact, it's impossible to replicate because the players who come in for them are not like for like. It's as simple as that. You've seen that with the change of the formation. It's all over the pitch. You know, Seamus Coleman, the things he does on the pitch, you know, no one can do. No, we've got no other player who can do that. No other player. John Joe Kenny, you know, is a more. I don't know whether he's more of a fit than Godfrey is, but he certainly can't do. You know, he hasn't got any pace whatsoever. I feel sorry for him because he's got all the tools in a way to be a fullback, but he can't run. So that's just like the big factor, isn't it? He can't run.
But is he defensive fullback?
Yeah,
John Joe Kenny.
But he can't run either, though.
He's not. I wouldn't say slow. He's just hasn't got enough pace to get away from people. But I think if he went and played for like Burnley or someone who played with, we could play in the Premier League, but it'd have to be at a team who played like a defensive game. I think if he's got a winger in front of him who's gonna take the ball for him, I think he's fine. This was my thing, and I know Godfrey was injured, which is why he didn't play, but this is why I had about Godfrey there. And I know he hadn't been great at Southampton, but at least he had the pace. But you're right, that was the thing. I said that in my Matt's reaction afterwards. It was the drop off in what people do. Is like Niels and Kunku come in, done all right. Wasn't no one gave him a chasing. He done okay. He's a kid making his debut. He was fine, and he'll be a good fullback. There's no question about it. But at the moment, he doesn't give us what Luca Dean gives us. It was further up the pitch where the real drop-off came, though. You're right to signal those two out, because those two were supposed to be the width that got us up in the game, but it was higher up.
No, I'm not digging them out, by the way. I'm just saying that, you know, in those two positions, you're not getting what you want, and then in front of them, you've got no one like Richarlison.
No.
You know, and he's and him and Hammers are our most creative players, you know, two of the most important players on the pitch, and they can't be replicated what they do.
But this is why, I know we disagree over Anthony Gordon slightly, but this is why. Is why I would play Gordon, just for the simple reason that he's not at Richarlison's level, nowhere near it. But the one thing he does do that Richarlison does is he tries to go and direct the goal. I don't think there's any other Everton player that does.
I agree with you on that. This thing about Anthony Gordon is with me, and I've got a bit of it annoys me this, and it's not about the player. It's about the build-up of the player. I've seen this too often with Everton players, where people hype them up when they're not playing, and then when they don't succeed, people start having a go at the player. In fact, we were probably a little bit guilty of it doing of ourselves on one way when Tom Davies came, although we've never really slagged him off at the other end. But it's the idea of like, he's the saviour, and he's not the saviour. No. And I know you're not saying that, but I look on social media and I see the outcry of people talking about him. But that's only going to lead to one thing. You've got to let people develop in their own time, and if you don't, they won't be the player you think they are. There's an idea at the moment that Anthony Gordon can come off the bench, and Anthony Gordon, I think, has created one goal for us, and he hasn't scored any goals for us, or, you know, certainly in the league. And I want him to develop at his own pace, and I know he's eager to do, and we've seen those things about him saying, you know, I've knocked on the manager's door and all this. I just want the lad to develop at his own pace. It's the old hide and south thing, isn't it? And don't get me wrong, he will get his chance, and he'll get his chance because the players who are ahead of him won't take their chance. I'm absolutely certain of that.
No, why not?
I'm absolutely certain that they won't take their chance, and he will. But it's got to be organic for me. That's all. And I know what you're saying. He has got that little thing that might be the difference, you might be absolutely right. You might be absolutely right. Where there's like, he gets a chance and he goes and does something where the manager even goes, I didn't know he was capable of that.
All I mean is just, if we're talking about trying to, like for like, do you know what I mean? Trying to, like, someone to run up players, because the others who come in don't run. They all turn back. I'm not saying put him in and he'll stay in. I just mean, while we haven't got Richie, at the moment, we haven't got Richarlison, at the moment, we haven't got anyone who wants to get, and I just felt, to be honest, I just felt sorry for Dom yesterday, because he was trying to pull things down off the air, make his own opportunities. It was embarrassing.
Yeah, he done well, Dom, on his own.
And I think the way the manager as well, just with the way look, he set up with a Christmas tree formation. trying to stifle a game and hope that we'd pick them off at somewhere in the game. And I understand that, given, I mean, don't understand his team selection, but I understand what his game plan was. But the one thing I would have done with where he had the formation is, I'd have switched to Corey and maybe Gomez, because Newcastle we were never really in. I know why he put the Corey there, because he can get back. I understand that, but Gomez would have just sat back anyway, and then he would have been better. I think Gomez being able to spread the ball, and the Corey is someone who wants to get past Dom. Where I just think he had him in the wrong position. So we were almost, if you're playing that formation, you need runners, and we almost had our best runner playing at right back because we were trying to push Kenny on, which never really worked. No. So that would have been the one thing I'd have tinkered with, having seen the formation.
No, I think everyone agrees that Carlo Ancelotti got it wrong yesterday. I think, you know, for me, I think he just overthought it. And I seen what he came out afterwards and he spoke to, you know, Everton TV, and he's saying, you know, it was about being tight because of the team we had and the players we had missing. And I appreciate all that. But I just thought we paid them far too much of a, you know, a compliment, far too much respect. And, you know, first half, there was nothing really. They had one chance. Also makes a save that I expect him to save. Came from our corner. Andre Gomez is running in
quicksand.
You know, it was pathetic. He's a big lad. Just lean on him and push him out of the. You know, it'll be a foul, and I doubt you'll even get booked because it's shoulder to shoulder. Players are thick these days. I just don't understand. They chase after people knowing they've got no chance of getting them back, and then they end up doing something like pulling a shirt back, which he didn't until they had him going. It's led to that. We never really had much. We had a little bit around the box, but no one ever took the opportunity to just shoot, which is.
And it was only really last 5 minutes, wasn't it? Yeah. That we had a shot with Dom. We had a Decore one where he didn't get any. It was a back pass really, wasn't it? And we had a Delph shot. Other than that, we didn't really.
So for me, the second half, I'd have made the sub in half time. Gomez was stinking the place out. I'd have brought Iwobi on, Bernard on, Gordon on, and just said, right, well,
just do what he was doing.
You're
better.
You're an attacker, so attack. He's not an attacker. You are. So play in the same position, but just attack. And I think that could have been the difference easily. That easily could have been the difference in the game.
Yeah, we in our group has said before the game, I'll be surprised if we have a shot in the first half because of the way we'd lined up. And it almost played out like that. I'm saying it, trying to cry it in the hope that we'd come out and be brilliant and be able to go, wow, I'm surprised there. And we didn't. It was just a very... Newcastle are good at what they do. And I had a couple of Newcastle fans in the instant match reaction going like, the arrogance, expecting like saying we don't create chances, but looking at their game so far this season, they don't create many chances. They're very good at what they do. Yeah. So it wasn't like me just going, oh, these are terrible, because I never said they were terrible. I said they're good at what they do. Yeah. But I just think Everton, see, I think Ancelotti, he hasn't made many mistakes since he took over. No. Yesterday was a huge mistake. I would have understood that team 7 days ago at Southampton, because Southampton are a team who press and they get forward and all that. And it was almost like he got the teams the wrong way round. I know we had James last week, we probably shouldn't have played, and we didn't have him yesterday, but I just feel as though if we'd have gone to Southampton with that formation, we might have stifled them a bit, and it might have worked. Where yesterday, I just felt like we needed to be a bit more attacking, because Newcastle done what we thought they'd do, which is let us have the ball. But we didn't really do anything with it either, so neither team done anything.
It was like, to be fair, funny enough, that was one of the things I was thinking of after the game. I was thinking, maybe if he just rested James for the Southampton game, we would have had him for this game. And that would have helped us in the Southampton game and helped us in this game. Yeah. But that's hindsight. You don't always know. He might have thought James Rodriguez would have come off the pitch against Southampton, would have gone, right, I'll be fine with a couple of days rest, but he didn't.
But Iwobi might have been maybe Iwobi or maybe Gordon at half time, just to try and run beyond Dom and give Newcastle something to think about.
Do you think the team and the way it played is then a statement by the manager in saying that he doesn't actually think they're good enough?
I seen this last night, a local news outlet had the manager was sending a message to the board about what's available. I don't know whether it was that. He played 5 centre midfield players, which is a bit mad, really. And none of them are really attacking midfield players either, bar Gylfi, really, and he's not very good anymore anyway, or he's not playing at the level we know he can, certainly. So we had a team with 1 striker and the rest were not, you know what I mean? There was no other creativity in it. Then on the bench you had Iwobi, didn't do himself any favours last Sunday, did he? Bernard hasn't done himself any favours anywhere at the moment this season, other than in the Carabao Cup against lower league. Then we had Tosin, who's just come back from a knee injury. You know, the people were saying, oh, he must be closer than we thought when the pitches were out Saturday. He comes on Sunday. Yeah. You know, when we had Jared Brantwaite, who's another one who's just come. So the bench wasn't very strong. There was no Godfrey. There was no Tom Davis, whatever you think about them two. They weren't on the bench. You know, young Ellis Sims was on there. So I understand that he might have looked at it and gone, me attacking options aren't great, so this is how we'll go. But I just feel maybe he was looking at, maybe he was saying to Marcel Brands and to others, you know, we need to get a bit more cover in him in January, because we've let. I keep going back to the Josh King thing, right? And I understand what you're saying, right? But the simple facts is, and I've seen a lot of people messaging me saying, can you just explain? I can't explain because I never made the decision.
I can.
No, but we let Moise Keane go out the door, right? Whether you like Moise Keane or you don't, he was a body. He was an attacking. He was a striker that we had in our squad. Fine, let him go. If you don't think he's good enough, let him go by all means. But then not to have a backup. And what's happened is the worst thing that's happened, could have happened, isn't it? We've been kicked in the teeth, haven't we, since we let him go up and didn't do anything. We lost Richarlison for 3 games and James the next week. So we are very light.
I know, I appreciate that, but I still don't think that's a reason to pay nearly 20 million for Josh. No, but I just don't. I just don't think, because it's worth.
But there might have been others, mightn't there?
There might have been. There might have been, but I actually think that kind of thinking has got us into where we are right now with this squad. That's like the Walcott signing, isn't it? It's like looking at something and going, we need something for the next month or the next 2 months, and they're going, well, let's just put all that. I wanted Josh King, but when I seen the numbers involved, I was like, whereas in 2 months, literally in 2 months' time, we could go to Bournemouth and go, here's £3 million.
Yeah. Take it
all, leave it, and we could give him his wages.
Yeah.
Because we've just saved ourselves 15, 16 million quid, right? Yeah. And I'd have no problem with that. I just think the thing, and you are right, they've had to make that decision. We said at the time it's a calculated risk, and in the short term, it doesn't feel like it's paying off.
No, but it could do long.
But what if you go and go, oh, got to give this lad what he wants? He's 29, and you're giving him. You'd have to give him like a 3-year contract, and he's on 90. He wants 90 grand a week, and you're paying 19 million quid for him. They're like figures that make.
I don't think we would have paid that, but
no, we didn't pay that.
No, that's
the point, isn't it? We didn't pay that.
No, it mightn't have necessarily been Josh King. I was just saying, and you're right. Listen, we could have got Richarlison. Couldn't have made that tackle against Thiago, and then it wouldn't have mattered. You know, James mightn't have got. You know, whatever. Players will get injured.
Whatever happened, right? Whatever happened. Don't forget. This is all because Richarlison made a stupid challenge, a very stupid and dangerous
And it's
challenge.
a long season, isn't it?
Exactly.
And we might go now 6 months without any injuries, so it won't matter. So, but just at this moment, it feels really...
It feels... but then it's like saying, you could argue. You could argue we should have got the lad from Atletico Madrid, the right back, who then got his ankle smashed playing for. Do you know what I mean? It's it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You could sit there all day going, we should have done this or we should have done that, or it's just that sometimes.
I just feel like in the final third, I feel like you can get away with a lot of things in other areas. You can play at midfield or at right back. You can play a defender in midfield, but it's in that specialised area.
No, I do agree. And we are light. There's no getting away from that. We are light. I think, but going back to what I was saying then about, like, I know if people can dress it up different ways, I just looked at it like yesterday, like what he was trying to do was almost out Newcastle by saying, right, you stifle the game and you try and wait for that moment. Well, we'll stifle that game, but we've got cleverer players. And that's what I noticed that after match, he was like, this has come from mistakes. This has come from a penalty that shouldn't have been. because the player should be wide awake to what's going on. And he said the second one, it's a ball around the corner. It shouldn't happen.
And we're pushing on, aren't we?
But it still shouldn't happen.
No.
And we'll talk about that in a minute.
But go on.
And he's gone. So he looked like he was basically saying, we came here to do exactly what they do, but we would do it better. But for me at half time, I think he should have looked at it and gone, well, we're actually very comfortable here. Let's just introduce a more attacking element. Yeah. And it should have, for me, it should have been Gomez off at that point, and it should have been one of those players on
higher up the pitch,
and just said, well, let's when Don gets the ball, let's have someone closer to him, and if it's Gordon or it's a Wobie or whoever. See, I think that position would have actually suited a Wobie down to I mean, it did when he come on. I think that would have suited him so much better. That to me is I've basically written him off as a wide player, but I still think he could do it centrally if given the opportunity, because I think that's where he wants to play.
Well, yesterday especially, because they were playing on the counter-attack, which is fine. But we needed a more of an attacking threat. They would have got in. Steve Bruce would have been quite happy at half-time. They're going, these have done nothing, really, because we hadn't. Yeah. But what we should have been doing was giving them something to think about. They always had the threat of St. Maxim or the, and Callum Wilson's a threat, and then they had Ryan Fraser, obviously, on the bench. So they were carrying a threat. We weren't carrying any threat other than trying to,
And it was actually them who came out in the second half who started being a little bit more attacking. They started trying to get the ball on. Rather than counter-attacks, they started to take the game to us a little bit. And that's what I'm saying. Again, that's the idea of, he sent them out and gone, these haven't done nothing and they're not going to do anything, so just have a little go at them. And they started going up, and that's basically what led to the corner. Just going the penalty, just and the corner to just getting up there and just creating little things that get you corners and throws and getting opportunities. And the penalty is like, I mean, if it's a penalty, then it's the classic line: you'll get 10 penalties a game. You don't. But to me, I just thought the penalty completely represented Andre Gomez as a footballer. And we say it all the time. He's a player who sort of plays in his own little world, own little bubble, and doesn't appreciate that there's other players on the pitch from the opposition, because he always thinks that he's got time. He never knows there's anyone on his shoulder. And this was, Callum Wilson said after the game, he said, I seen him springing for the ball, so I just went over there and made sure he kicked me, got a little bit of me. It's like, sound. But it's like, that's where I just wouldn't have had him anywhere on the pitch. But he's bought the penalty, and I can't really argue with it. It was soft as hell.
It is soft as hell. It's one of them that you won't get 9 times out of 10 for me, because he's not got any chance of getting the ball. It's not as if he's booted him as he's going for the ball. His legs caught him in the thing, but it does happen. It happened in the first half. I mean, we're talking about VAR decisions given it, which is fine when you can look at anything back and go, you make a case for it, can't you? Yeah. But I mean, I've seen this suggestion as well this morning. But what happened with the VAR checking? I mean, should Callum Wilson have been on the pitch? If you want to break it down to that, he should. Yeah, he mean it. And if the throat and threw him on the floor, it's a red card. I've seen referees saying today it's a red card. Shouldn't have been on the pitch. Now, to me, it happens in a game. That you have a thing, you push it, but some people will get sent off for that, and he hasn't. Same with the penalty. They got a penalty. Other teams won't get penalties for it. It was very soft for me. But when you look at it again, I just wanted the referee to go and look at it, and he didn't. He just took the word, and I thought they weren't supposed to.
It was a lockdown penalty. Yeah. No, it was. Because what I mean by that is, the player throws himself, but then you hear him.
The scream.
You hear the scream. I don't think that's, I know it sounds stupid, but I don't think that's given when there's crowds. They mask the noise, and they also take the attention away of when it's in like a sterile environment. I think you're seeing it with loads of soft ones getting given, because I know this sounds stupid, but it is, because when it's in a sterile environment, and you hear the crying and all the rest of it. You see, when Salah went down on Saturday, Harry Kane, And the referees like suddenly switched onto it. It's like, I don't think they get given.
But then VAR does check that. Listen, like I said, you can slow anything down and it looks worse than what it is. We've seen that with all sorts of incidents over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If they're saying, right, you catch the play, he goes down to penalty, then fine, give it everyone then. It's got to be consistent. But he has caught him slightly in the back. I just don't think, I thought not every foul, referees say this, not every collision in the box is a penalty. So I just didn't think he had any chance of getting it. It wasn't like he was...
It's also
but if he's caught him...
It's also a strange one, isn't it, where I think the merits of actually a foul when the player is in the motion of just kicking the ball and a play... Do you know what I mean? Like that's something I think is changing a lot. I think Messi got one back end of the Champions League last season, didn't he? Where same sort of thing. The player was just going to kick it out. But I don't think this was like that. You know, I can understand if Callum Wilson had got in front of Gomez at the last minute, but he didn't. It was almost like Gomez by the backlift of his foot caught him. But listen, I'm not going to say I can't be bothered sitting here.
It was a soft one, but I can see maybe why they'd give it. So that's what it is, isn't it? If you get it, hopefully we'll get one like that, and then you kind of cancels it out.
You know, he converts the penalty, and
Pickford wasn't happy, was he?
You just felt like that was it. When you 1-0
the minute they went ahead, I just thought it's over.
You know, we were lucky not to go too behind not long after as well. Good save by
Olsen,
Robin Olsen, and kept us in it for a little bit longer. But the second goal was just... What annoyed me was, just after that, sorry, so he takes Gomez not long after.
He's injured, isn't he?
No, but
I'm saying he injured his knee kicking Wilson.
But he shouldn't have been on the pitch. That's what annoyed me. He shouldn't have been on the pitch anyway. And then the second goal, when you're trying to get back in the game, and we weren't doing a very good job of it, but we were trying to get back in. But oh my God, it's so bad. This goal is just woeful from Mina.
Yeah,
it's great forward play.
But Fraser does really well
because he sucks him in to create the space, knowing he's got him all day for speed. And it just reminded me of the one against Arsenal last season when they beat us at their place, and it almost feels like the same. Mina gets taken out by the centre forward. In that one, David Luiz plays the ball, doesn't he, through the middle, and he's created his own space then to run into, knowing he'll beat him in a foot race. And the same thing happens. He pulls him out and then he drags him into the space, and he wins the foot race, no problem. Mina nearly gets back. I mean, he actually helps divert the ball. Probably.
Well, it's going nowhere, is it, really, from Fraser? It's going into where there's bodies, but luckily for Newcastle, it deflects and takes Olsen out the game and lands. And Wilson does what every good striker should do, follows it in as a tap-in on the line. And like you say, Fraser done brilliantly. And that's the threat Newcastle carry, which is, you know, the game plans work brilliantly from Bruce there, and you can't argue with that. And you know, it's just disappointing from our obviously our.
Did that show that? I think that goal showed for me we need to introduce some pace into the centre backs, and it looks like it would have to be Yeremina coming out, because obviously Michael
He's not playing well enough now, is he? He started off all right, but the last couple of games whether he's carrying anything I don't know, because not everyone's fit. I'm not sure, but he looks like. So it'll come down to what we've always said when everyone's fit, is that one's the stopper and the other one will be the pace. And at the moment, Michael Keane's playing better, so it's him. There's no question about it. Mina will have to come out of it because there's no recovery pace.
I just think in general though, there needs to be pace in there, because I think off the ball, I just don't. I think with the ball we're all right. I just think without the ball, it's the same old problems. Is that we don't get out of plays quick enough. We let their players determine, you know, what the outcome of things is going to be. And I think with a little bit of pace in the back line, with a bit of recovery pace,
solve some issues.
We can push higher up the pitch as well. Whether that be Holgate, whether that be Ben Godfrey. You know, if he was available against Man United, would you put him in there because of the pace they've got it? You know what I mean? It's just that, like, for what he might lack in, defensive ability, maybe experience. But having that pace, that recovery pace, it's something we've overlooked a little bit because we had such a good start. But you've seen that creep in the last couple of performances. It's not having that pace at the back doesn't half make a difference. So, but 2-0 down, and then it becomes like like a little bit like last week. Like the subs start coming on and you're starting to go, what? You know what I mean? It's like Nkunku going off. I mean, I didn't get that one the same way I didn't get the Corey going off last week.
No.
Like, I'm not saying he was having a great game, but he can be your wit. He can push on that. No, I just thought that the subs, I don't think the right subs came on, but also I don't think they came on in the right order either. I think, see, this is the thing about subs. I think if you put subs on in the right order, you can actually eliminate needing to make a sub. Do you know what I mean? Like it's almost like you put one sub on and then you put another sub on because that sub hasn't quite worked. Whereas if you get the first sub right, for me, I had to put a Wobie on in the number 10 role or Gordon. But he, I just thought Delph didn't need to be on the pitch. I'm not even sure Alan needed to be on the pitch just because we're 2-0 down and we needed to go for it a little bit. And
we'd had the Dom header at 1-0, haven't we, which unfortunately went straight at Darlow. They'd have gone either side of him. We might have...
Bit of pace on the ball.
Because it was the only real headed chance we gave Dom, to be honest. And we had the other one. I don't know whether it was at 0-0 or 1-0 when he got a head injury, but he headed it back and Sigurdsson swing it. It's the defender, the chances were few and far between, but yeah, the subs, I don't know why he took Nkunku off, because we needed someone who might run down the line and put a cross in. Delph just dropped in, and Delph had more touches than anyone yesterday. He had 102 touches in the game, 102 passes, which is more than anyone. Completed 99 of them, I think. Delph did okay. Yeah, it's just the problem was, as the game went on, he started being too safe and passing it back, so we make some momentum and then we turn and come back, and it was like, and that was the key area yesterday. Gomez, I don't think he made a forward pass while he was on the pitch, and him and Sigurdsson passed the ball to Dom once in the game. And you're like, you're there to create for him. Neither of them did it. So we were running out of ideas. He made subs. For me, Gordon should have been on simply because he offers something the others don't. That's why I'm not saying he's great, but he runs past people. Iwobi come on made a difference, whether people like him or not. He did. He created that one for Dom, which he possibly should have done better with. The goal come from Iwobi. I know it took a deflection, but he was in the right area. And he started getting us thinking. Bernard was nice on the ball, dropping into pockets and causing them a few issues, but it didn't really amount to anything. Tosin, I don't know. I understand why you put him on. He's a striker, and you're behind, so you're looking for... I don't know. I think
he put Tosin on, for me, to give actually Don more space.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you know what I mean?
It didn't affect the game, did it?
No, but I suppose if you've got a...
you've got to gamble.
If you're him, you've got to get a minutes, haven't you? And we spoke about this last week about do you give him... We didn't know how far away he was. Do you give him some time in the under-23s? I mean, if I could find an under-23s game this week for him, I'd play him.
He's going to get him fit. He's got to at least be at the level where he can come on and contribute, even if it's to 20 minutes at his top level.
What annoyed me was, actually, we scored the goal, and then we were like, we better have a go. And it's just like, why didn't you do that for the last 10 minutes of the game? Why didn't you start throwing everything at them? Why didn't you start just throwing long balls in towards St. Tosin or Dom and hope that the other one gets a knockdown? Why not just keep them in? Because for that 6 minutes, when the ball went off for 6 minutes and then we got a goal, they didn't get out of their half, and they didn't want to get out their half because they were petrified of doing what they did to us last season. So it was just like we had that over them, and we had a couple of set pieces. And then you see he's getting a corner in the last minute and you think, can we? And the keeper's up. And then, Jesus Christ. Do you know what, right? You're a set-piece specialist. Just smash one in with a bit of pace and see what happens. The keeper might come for it and misinterpret the pace on it. Yeah, it might take a little knock. You might hit somebody and drop or anything. And he floats one up and the keeper just comes out. I'll just catch this. What else is going on? Jeez.
No, and he'd already dropped a couple, Darlow, in the game.
It's not like he's a great goalie.
No.
But you've got everyone in the box. Just put some pace in there. I mean, it was so slow. If they wanted to, they could have gone. But the keeper just thought, no, we'll take this.
Well, they won then. Once he caught it, he knew they'd won, hadn't he? It was a good win for them.
Unbelievable.
We just, with the that's what annoys you, is that a lot of time you do become the master of your own downfall, Everton, and that seemed to be what it is. We played with no bravery and it was frustrating. But
let's just have a look at the stats from the game. I mean, 62% possession, 15 shots, 4 on target. I mean, if you look at the stats, you know, ultimately you would say, oh, we didn't deserve to lose. But I look at that and think, well, if we'd been braver, we would have won the game.
I honestly thought a draw would have been a fair result. I don't think either team done anything that could have sat there and gone, we deserve to win that game. Personally, I don't. There was a penalty that gave them the lead, which was nothing. They created the goal, we created the goal. A 1-1 probably would have been about the right result. But fair play to them. They took the chance and they defended.
They did exactly what we thought they were going to do.
I'm not calling them, I'm just saying. When you look at the stats, you just go, yeah.
They did exactly what we thought they were going to do. And that's what annoys me. That's what annoys me. Two fellas sitting on a couch talking about it, knowing exactly what they were going to do. And yeah, we somehow fell into the trap of going, oh, we better do something a bit different then. And like, fine, like as I said, for the first half of the game, you're almost just prodding them and seeing what they've got. Second half, I'd unleashed the hounds. I just thought we had enough there, even though the squad was stretched. I thought we had enough creativity on that bench to go, right, we're going to have a go at you now. Let's see what you've got. Let's see if we can drag you out your comfort area. Because they were never going to change what they were doing. And that's the other thing. That's the other thing with Newcastle. They were never, ever going to change. They were always waiting for that penalty. They were always waiting for that set piece to happen. They were never going to change the way they played. And it was always going to come down to us taking the game to them, and we didn't. And that's what annoyed me more than anything, that we didn't have the bravery on the bench or off the bench to say, we're going to have a little go at you today. Because sometimes you've got to be brave to win games. You've got to be. They're not just going to fall in your lap. And I think that's what's happened, personally.
They stuck to the game. Yeah. Like I've said before, I think I said it last week, like when we had Moyes, you know, there was games like this that we won when we were like Newcastle, you know, a team who's doing well coming. We got a game plan. You stick to, you do what you're good at. Newcastle are good at that. They're very, very efficient. I've said this before. I think that they've got the best shots to goal ratio in the Premier League. So they don't have many clear-cut chances, but they take them. I think Callum Wilson's got 6 goals this season. And they dig in, they stick to their game plan. Thought Longstaff played well for them in midfield. Thought he had a really good game. And they carried that threat with St. Maxim and Fraser off the bench. So fair play to Newcastle. You know, they've got the win. And Everton have got the manager's got to come up with, not only we get players back, but he's got to come up with something to win games like this.
Well, that's it, yeah. Because we'll play. It's the flip side, is you play good teams that will beat you through quality, and you'll play teams that'll just try and beat you like that, by stifling you. And you've got to have a way to beat both of them. You can't fall.
You've got to do anything, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to do anything, you've got to do that yourself, and that's the disappointing thing. That's the disappointing thing from it. There you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on this game. The disappointment of this game, very, very disappointing. 2 defeats now, and obviously Manchester United to come on Saturday before the international break. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want more great videos, including the extended version of this video live, then join us on Patreon. The link is in the description and should also be, I'm going to say there. I'm going to say there. Right there. There you go. Thanks for watching. See you later.